I know it is November 1st, but who's counting? Maybe some of y'all, but if so, I'm sorry. Anyway, today I want to get into a sort of Halloween trend that I'm surely nowhere near the first person to notice because it's been going on for a while now. But that's this idea of dressing up as some sort of meme for Halloween.
Do you gang bang? I be outside with my gang gang.
And for years now, just as often as you see that year's most popular character, like a Barbie, you'll see someone dressed up as the latest TikTok personality or even as a specific viral meme. Think of people being like the Hawk Tuah girl from last year. And it seems like with time, as we become more chronically online, these costumes are more easily understood, even expected, because the internet is now one of those large arenas where culture is made. And meme Halloween costumes have been a thing for a while now. Some of the first ones I remember are people like Antoine Dodson or the Sweet Browns. And then I remember when I was in high school, a lot of people dressed up as Alex from Target. Or even a couple years later, things like the Arthur fist meme or Arthur in general, and then taking a zoomed in picture of your fist. Or the DW fence meme, or the one where she's got like the edited eye bags. New York on the bed, the Spider-Man pointing meme, so many to pull from. I was like, not me feeling so ancient that I can't remember, even if it was common back then, like early mid-2010s, for people's Halloween costumes to reference Vines, for example, because that was where a lot of people were getting their meme references prior to TikTok. Like, if you didn't see it on Twitter, you saw it on Vine. Like, there's no way that people weren't. But for example, I can't remember someone being Zendaya singing Partition in the car for Halloween, or In Me Mom's car for Halloween, or the Why You Always Lying guy for Halloween. And that's not to say that people weren't doing that, because I doubt that. I'm just saying I don't remember if they did or if it became a thing where people would post it on social media and would become viral to the degree that it does now. Which, if not, would make sense because social media is way more entrenched in our current culture than even a decade or so ago. And speaking of, something else that's pretty common, especially thanks to social media, is that now, especially with a lot of celebrities because they're posting to a larger audience, the quote-unquote dressing up for Halloween is just a picture that they post on Instagram and go, rather than a costume that they're actually seen out in. We're just getting the highlight reel of a photo shoot. But I've also heard people say it feels inauthentic or doesn't really feel like a costume, especially if the pictures involve a lot of editing and photoshopping, and sometimes that's not even in the case of just the background, like parts of the costume. And that part I can kind of agree with, because to a lot of people, it's not about having the most crisp, clean, store-bought costume, but rather the creativity, or it's clear that I'm dressing up as this person, but it's also clear that I'm putting my own spin, my own take on it. And even at times, celebrities get in on the meme costumes and will dress up as each other. Like, for example, one that's extremely popular is Jenna Ortega. Sorry, I don't know who the guy is. When they were dressed up as Pete and Ariana Grande, I feel like a couple years ago, several people, Lil Nas X is one I remember, dressed as Ice Spice. And this year, I just saw that Demi was Poot, and we have come full circle because I remember the days when Demi was not fucking with Poot and will block you if you mention Poot, hence the basement to begin with. But mixed in with the more pop culture current costumes, the meme costumes, you definitely still have your typical throwback ones like the Cheetah Girls, Britney Spears, Elvis, the more evergreen pop culture figures. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older, so those are the ones that I'm more likely to recognize, but it seems like these costumes are becoming more common because those are the main cultural touch points that you can rely on people to recognize. And that's not to say that for Halloween it's either meme or pop historical reference, because I don't think that that's true. Because it does seem still, for the most part, annually, some of the most popular costumes, or the ones that make those mainstream lists of most popular costumes, are what ends up being most popular in the mainstream media, with a viral meme peppered in here and there. And for example, in 2025, the most popular Halloween costumes are noted to be the characters from the K-pop Demon Hunters. Mostly Huntrix. I have seen some Soulja Boys, which I think that one's pretty predictable based on how popular the movie is. Also costumes related to Wednesday, characters in the Wednesday universe, Smoke and Stack from Sinners, Wicked, The Boys, and then just apparently showgirl theme in general, obviously referencing Taylor's album. Labubus were also popular costumes for this year, unsurprisingly, but I am kind of back and forth over whether I would count this as a meme, considering a Labubu is a genuine accessory. But tons of memes are real things or start in a real place. But some of the specific costumes, like the lady and her baby dressed up as the 24 karat gold Labubu, I would definitely consider that a meme.
I have the one and only 24 karat gold Labubu.
At the very least, I would consider an instance like that an example of a meme costume. And so like I was saying, it's not like these meme costumes are all that people are doing for Halloween, or rather it just seems like it's becoming a more common category of inspiration. Like, for example, there was a time when it wasn't as common to dress up as a singer or athlete or movie character for Halloween, especially before movies existed. So then you might have your angels, your mummies, your Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, those more quote-unquote traditional Halloween figures, and then obviously historical figures that would have existed or been considered such even decades and centuries ago. And speaking of, over the past maybe 2 or 3 years, I've seen several people say, oh, remember when Halloween costumes were actually original and now everything is a reference? And it's like the point of the Halloween costumes, at least now, is usually to be something recognizable from popular current media. So no matter what you're dressing up as, whether it's the Lorax or Tinkerbell or Black Panther or Janet Jackson, that's still a reference just because you're not Hawktua girl. But the Lorax, the Tinkerbells, that's not exactly what people are referring to. Rather, how a lot of these costumes aren't necessarily designed to reference something popular in the zeitgeist at that current moment, but rather something that will both be unique and nostalgic. And in a sense, the nostalgia is part of the costume, it adds to it. So think of like the frequency of people being like Aaliyah's, Tupac's, early era Britney Spears, Selena's, NWA, 90s sitcom characters, things of that nature. And it seems like the mindset or the frustrations behind this is similar to the way that a lot of people are critiquing red carpet looks for just being so reference focused lately. And this is semi-related, drag me in the comments if you want, but the wow, did it have to be some sort of throwback, some sort of reference? That really hits for me when you see a little child clearly dressed as something that was like for us, the internet, or, you know, the parents and their friends. I'm always like, I hope that wasn't their only costume. I hope the kid also got to pick a costume for themselves. Like when Kim Kardashian dressed her kids up as a bunch of 90s hip hop and R&B stars. And of course, she's an instance where I'm like, obviously she can afford more than one costume for her kids. But when I see posts like that, I'm like, who is that for? And even in instances like these, I don't think they're always a case of people just dressing up as a 90s TV character just for attention, and it's not like they don't personally like or have a connection to that media. Rather, people are just noticing it and commenting on it as yet another piece of evidence that perhaps they're not producing as many culturally significant characters and figures as we used to, which is why people are wanting to reach backwards so much. And honestly, it seems like the memes are taking up some of that real estate now. But because they often have so much less staying power and they might just be a seconds-long clip of a video or even just a picture rather than a whole movie or series, these things obviously don't last as long like I've been mentioning. But because of that, I think now it's perfectly or rather normal for your Halloween costume to maybe be something that no one had heard of 6 months, a year ago, maybe even a month ago if it's just that trendy. And also, the meme Halloween costumes are just a perfect way to have a costume that's absurd as fun and it's recognizable, but usually it's also still pretty affordable. Because often you can recreate these costumes by buying a few items or none at all, since you're probably just recreating a moment that someone probably recorded at home in regular clothing with no big budget. And we can't really talk about meme Halloween costumes without bringing up gay Halloween, aka the gays dressing up as niche references in queer culture, or just often camp internet or pop culture moments at large. And at least on social media, you often see this in the context of the meme, I hate gay Halloween because what do you mean you're insert internet reference here? And some examples from the last few years include Renee, Beyonce's silver horse from Renaissance, Fed Up Oompa Loompa from the Willy Wonka Glasgow experience, or the tennis ball from Challengers. And writing for USA Today, obviously in the spirit of Mean Girls, Anthony Robledo explains gay Halloween saying, in gay world, Halloween is the one night a year when the chronically online people can dress as a ghost, cowboy, or fashion designer Queen of Melrose explaining how her grandmother converted from Catholicism to Jehovah's Witness at a dysfunctional family dinner. In the internet's latest trend, people are showing off their hyper-specific Halloween costumes of niche pop culture references. These elaborate outfits honor a wide range of material, including viral memes, song lyrics, reality TV scenes, celebrity interviews, AI-generated images, and objects in films. And my first thought was, I hate gay Halloween because what do you mean people are dressing up as AI images? And the article didn't include any, and when I tried to find some, all I could come up with were costumes that were actually designed with AI. It wasn't a human dressed up as an image, they were just AI-generated images themselves. But in general, I wouldn't be surprised if there were several ChatGPT costumes, even couple ones making fun of the people who are in love and obsessed with their AI, because that's what we do now. But similarly to the meme of it all, or under the umbrella of the meme of it all, a lot of these gay Halloween costumes have a DIY element to it. Like, I got this wig, I have these tights, what is the most creative? What is the funniest thing that I can make from this? So it is like a challenge, but a really fun one that even feels communal to a lot of people too, because you're intending to reference something that other people will recognize and you're hoping that they're going to get a kick out of it. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of these. I'm like, I haven't thought about that specific thing in a while, but thank you, Gay Halloween, for giving someone a reason to wake this up. Speaking of, shout out to Queen Anania for the Honey Bunches of Oats costume because this is spot on. And I was like, wow, I have not thought about this commercial in years. I used to love it every time it came on.
I smell cookies. I said, oh no, you just smell me. I just got out of work. That's Honey Bunches of Oats.
And in general, I just think we have such an interesting take on Halloween currently because a lot of people's goal is to be the only person at the party dressed as that thing, that meme, that reference. And also, if you're ending up posting these things online, the more unique the costume, the more funny, creative, the more likely it is to go viral and you get recognition from it. In a USA Today article that I mentioned about gay Halloween, they interviewed Gabe Bergato, who he's always trying to come up with a more entertaining gay Halloween costume than the one before. My favorite out of the ones listed was a Pop Crave tweet because it doesn't get any more gay Halloween than being a Pop Crave tweet. But I also found being the father of the Four Seasons babies specific, and I thought it was funny. And that's another thing. It's often not enough, so to speak, just to be Lady Gaga, but your costume's got to be a hyper-specific meme version of that celebrity because the meme itself is the costume, not necessarily the celebrity. And then had to save this for the end because I think this is my favorite Halloween costume I have seen online this year. It's a pop culture reference to the point that it's become a meme, and it is someone dressing up not as Nicole Kidman at an AMC theater, but the actual concept of witnessing the Nicole Kidman AMC theater's ad while you yourself are in the theater. It's like a wearable diorama. So yes, thoughts, opinions, feelings on the meme costumes of it all, gay Halloween specifically if you want. Also, I just want to know what y'all wore for Halloween. If you dressed up, if you were a meme, if you participated in gay Halloween. All of the thoughts, comments, opinions, costume descriptions, because you can't give me a pic down below, then we can chat as we always do. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can stick around for more. Also, if you'd like to become a channel member and get early access to videos, the link is in the description. And again, thank you so very much for watching. I love you all so very much, and we'll see you so very soon. Bye-bye.